Let's get started on the application for Merchant Mariner Medical Certificate. And this is Section 1, Applicant Information, to be completed by the applicant and reviewed by the medical practitioner. So if we check out the very first box, this is the last name, right? My last name is Smith, my first name Neil, middle name. They want the whole thing. Moreland. It's my grandmother's maiden name. Suffix. I don't have a junior, senior, or third, etc. But if you do, it will go there. Now, your reference number. If you are upgrading or changing your license and your application for medical certificate is over 3 years old, then you'll have to do this. But if this is an original, the reference number is not applicable. So then your gender, male or female, as it goes. Mine is male. Date of birth, you have to do it in this format. So mine's April 2nd, 4/2/1982, in that format. So 2 characters, and 4 characters. And now the next line says, please indicate best method or methods of contact by checking the appropriate box or boxes. Optional if information is same as most recent CG 719B. CG 719B is the application. So to be safe, to make sure this doesn't get kicked back, I would fill this in. So right up here, we need to fill in the street address. I'm going to give you the street address for U.S. Captain's Training. 8256 South Watkins Lane, City, Traverse City, State, Michigan, 49684. And primary phone number for U.S. Captain's Training, we have 231 946 5136, right? And that's probably the best way to get a hold of us. Alternative phone, we have 866-293-9308. That's our toll-free number. Email address, info@uscaptainstraining.com. info@uscaptainstraining.com. This is a really good way to get a hold of us. Our primary is a good way to get a hold of us. And in the case of U.S. Captain's Training, our home address or home business address is the best way to get a hold of us. Now you'll notice P.O. Box not acceptable. So you can't say that your home address here is a P.O. Box. It's a very small home. So this one down here, delivery mailing address, if different. So if you have a P.O. Box or a place where you need your mail to go, you'd put it down here and check that is the best address to get a hold of you. Because when you go through this medical application, they are going to mail you a medical certificate that's a physical piece of paper, and they need to know where to send it to. So if you check that it's your home address, they're going to mail it there. If you check that the best way to get it to you is this mailing address or delivery/mailing address, and a P.O. Box is acceptable down here. So mine is home, not P.O. Box. If yours is P.O. Box, you'll check this one. And now, right under here, there's something, it kind of threw me off, but I called the Coast Guard. So application type, good. This is medical certificate. That's what you're going for. And now down here, I have a medical waiver. When I called the Coast Guard, they said a medical waiver. This is if you have an existing medical condition, like the lady on the phone used the example of a heart condition. So if you have a heart condition, or if you have been fighting cancer and you get screened every so often and you have a medical waiver, then you'll have to check yes and then provide a copy of that waiver. The majority of us, though, will check no, we do not have a medical waiver. And I also asked, how often does this need to be? How often does your medical certificate have to be updated? And they said normally on just a national license going to be used around the U.S. with no medical waiver, it can be 5 years. If you have a medical waiver that says that you have to be checked more often, you will have to have your medical certificate more like every 2 years. Or, and if you have an STCW license that's international in scope. So if you have a STCW that's international in scope, the international regulations say you have to have this done every 2 years. So for 85-90% of you going through this and getting an original license for the United States near coastal in scope, or Great Lakes and inland, or inland only, or Western rivers for that matter, you will need to renew this every 5 years with your